Our next speaker is going to talk on choosing the journey to the self. How apropos is that? And you know, I don't want to gush about this woman, but I've known her for a while. She's a dear friend of mine. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. And for over 20 years, Bonny Mathe Helms has helped people with addiction, codependency, trauma, grief, and depression. She's created and facilitated many workshops, retreats, and intensive training. And she has the unique gift for helping individuals heal from traumatic childhoods. So, without further ado, I want to introduce my good friend, Bonny Mathe Helms.
Made me cry.
Good.
Good. Zane makes me cry and he goes, good. So hi. How are you guys? Is this, I'm not used to being mic'd. So I just want to take a moment. If we can just take a moment. If you would close your eyes just for a moment. And just follow your breath for a few moments here. And I want you to rest between the breaths and let that in-breath come all by itself. Just resting between the breaths. Allowing the in-breath to come by itself. Rest. Good. Thank you. You helped me a lot by doing that. So this journey to self, I was going to be the first speaker, and then when I came in, I found out that our first speaker was, oh my goodness, Heather. Hi, Heather. Was Heather, and I was totally fine with it because what I'm learning in my life is that I need to follow what's inside me, what feels right. And like you were saying, I just think it was a perfect segue to what I'm going to be talking about here. So, you know, I just don't believe in the accidents. I don't. I believe every second is a divine appointment. Because truly, I've chosen the journey to self because this has been my journey. And I think it's all of our journeys, really, if we choose it. And I agree with what JG said about if you're here, you're on that journey. You're doing that thing. And otherwise you wouldn't, you know, you'd read this thing, go, you know, throw it away. I mean, you would, but it's for some reason, it touches you. And it was back, I don't know, 20, maybe 30 years ago when I was teaching at a DUI program. Okay, I wasn't quite, didn't have my master's yet, hadn't got my license yet, and because I'm a recovering addict, recovering food addict, alcohol, drugs, codependency, debt. If there's a 12-step program out there, I probably could qualify. So that's been part of my journey, big part. So, and part of my recovery is that I went to graduate school. Decided, oh wow, you know, I've always been involved with people's lives, probably in a very codependent way before recovery. No, not even probably, no, for sure, a very codependent way. You know, let me tell you how you feel, and what to do about it. Yeah, that went over real big. But you know, I seem to have kind of a natural affinity for that kind of work, and so it never occurred to me that I should go to school for it. So I did. And so while I was doing that, I was teaching about alcoholism. because this DUI program, right? Multiple offender in Oakland, okay. And so I tried it the way they taught me to do it, which is in your face, you're an alcoholic, okay? You got to face the facts, and just very hard, very in your face kind of thing. And then I tried it the other way, which is, kind of accommodating and very codependent, very, I was loose with it, and I just wanted them to like me, okay? Just wanted them to like me. That didn't work either. You know why it didn't work, right? I mean, the first one, they complied, but they didn't respect me because I was hard ass. I can swear here, right? Okay, good. And the other way, they didn't respect me and they didn't comply at all, And what I didn't do was come from who I am. I didn't come from a place of my own addiction. And the minute it just hit me one day that, forget these methods of teaching. Just forget that. How about you reach them from one alcoholic to another, from one addict to another, from one person who's been through tremendous pain and misery and despair to another. And I bet all of you have had some of that in your life, yeah? And when that happened, these people who are mandated, they were mandated to be there, who I would give them 5 minutes, okay, you complain for 5 minutes while you got that third DUI, and then you're gonna shut up. They stood up and clapped afterwards. I was nearly in tears. And I may go to that place quite a bit, And the tears are gratitude, just complete gratitude. And I discovered something at that point, that teaching or presenting or whatever is about coming directly from my own authentic self, And from then on, it was like, okay, what is my heart telling me? Now, you were talking about choice. How do we make choices? And it is very individual. And when I say my heart, it's just really, what feels right, what opens me when I think about it, and what contracts me when I think about it. And it meant that I had to be very aware of my body. Now, I come from trauma, not extreme trauma, but trauma. I come from being born with a bilateral cleft lip and getting teased, getting rejected. It messed up my teething. I had false teeth by the time I was 8. And I finally got a bridge. I was called Miss Ipana, if anybody is old enough to even remember Ipana. Brush up, brush up, brush. Okay. Right, remember? Okay. And then at 13 years old, that bridge went away because my teeth were going in. So I went around in, 12, 13, 14, those ages that we all just love to remember, with one tooth in the middle of my mouth, turned at a 45-degree angle with braces because they were going to give me a permanent bridge. And I had this kind of a figure, right? So from far away, they go, oh, look at that, good-looking girl. And then if they got close, they would literally do this, like that, if I happened to show my teeth. Now, I'm not telling you this to feel sorry for me, but I know that on some level you can all relate. I just know that, because you know what? I'm gonna say something my teacher, I have a teacher, his name is Ajashante, and he says, what looks through my eyes also looks through your eyes. Yeah. And that's where I've been going. So I've been following that, and this is a person like I've been told I have ADD. I used to say, oh, I have ADD, and now I'm not even sure if that's true, but I seem to have those symptoms. And I take medication for it. And I used to think, oh, I'm never going to take medication, and oh my God, And because don't we have all these things that we say are right or wrong, right? Like I heard the gentleman over there say that's suicide. That was wrong, And I get it. My son's father committed suicide 5 years ago. And I got to tell you, because of the place that I've been over the last decade, I would say, in my meditation and in the search for self, okay, I couldn't find it wrong. I find very few things wrong. And that may sound funny to some of you, but when I do react and think there's something wrong, I know where to go. And it isn't out there. It's here. It's here. And what I mean by that is, if I'm responding to something in a way, or it shouldn't happen, you know, me arguing with what's right in front of me, you know, argue with reality at your own peril, right? So, I mean, I can gnash my teeth and just, it shouldn't happen. But I have to face what is there in front of me. And if I face it without a story of good or bad, which is, you know, that sounds real easy, right? Yeah, it's not, you know. Where did I get to that point? If I face it with not good or bad, I realize that Timo, his name was Timo, was in tremendous pain, tremendous amount of pain, emotional pain, very depressed, hadn't dealt with his PTSD, was having morning nightmares. It was showing up in his back, and he finally couldn't take it. And he left a note. He even left a note on the door for his wife saying, honey, I'm sorry. And she knew. She asked him about 8 months before, can you promise me you will not kill yourself? And he said, honey, I can't do that. I can't promise you that. I mean, can you imagine? It's like, you gotta stay alive, you know? He couldn't promise that. And my son was kept from that. And my son, what a glorious guy. So when he committed suicide, there was this sense of relief in some ways. My son had a dream that, and he felt like he felt his father's darkness, the darkness he was in before he committed suicide. And he shared the dream with me, and he said, Mom, it was so dark. It was so painful. It was so horrible. I understand why he did it, and I'm glad he did it. So I wasn't even going to bring that up, but I've decided to kind of throw out the notes and really go with what's been brought up. So how in the world can I face something like that and go, oh, that should have happened? You know? Some of you, how many of you have heard of Byron Katie? Byron Katie? Yeah, I had a feeling. This group here. Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, I knew it. Gangaji, anybody? Okay, Gangaji. And how about Ajashante? Anybody? All right. My people, there you are. So this whole journey has been to my pain, not away from it, okay? As a recovering addict, what I had to face in order to get into recovery is that I am, or my body anyway, is addicted. I am powerless, completely powerless over what I do when I'm under the influence. Powerless. If I don't admit that, if I don't face the reality as it is, 100% face it, I can't go any further. I can't even be in recovery. And I got to tell you, I told you in the beginning that when you actually face something with the truth of what it is, okay, not your story about what it is, Byron Katie, right, that something opens. I found that when I really face something and it's a realization that, oh, this is so, it opens me. So when I went, oh my God, I'm an alcoholic, it didn't make me contract. It made me open. I was like, oh, okay, well now I can do something about it. Now I can do something about it. And it's very natural for all of us to go away from our pain. I mean, I have been counseling people with complex childhood sexual abuse for 20 years, over 20 years. And believe me, the last thing they want to do is go face that. And yet, you know, facing anything that hurts, to whatever degree you can. Remember, this is at your own journey. This isn't led by somebody else. This is like whatever baby steps you can do that you can tolerate, little by little, to face it, and not necessarily remember all of it, but to face your pain, to acknowledge what it is that hurts you. Acknowledge what it is that makes you pissed off. Acknowledging what it is that you know, like ISIS, we all go, or Donald Trump. I know this group's like, oh, you know, Donald Trump, you know, and yet what JG was saying is like, what is the bigger picture here? You know? And I start to think like, okay, if somebody truly, truly believes that what he's saying touches them and they think it's so, and they really, really find that finally somebody is speaking the truth that they have felt all their lives or all their whatever, can I really judge them for that? Can I call them stupid? I could. A lot of people do. Those idiots, they're fascists. Believe me, I've said those things. But in reality, it is what it is. And some people think, well, that's a cop-out. But where I've been going with myself, and the only way I can do this is because I'm taking that journey. I'm taking that journey and facing all my negative core beliefs about me. Growing up with that bilateral or hair lip, you know, so that was the, you know, we call each other names, my three brothers and I, you know, one was baby, one was fatso, mine was hair lip. That's how we got each other going, you know, we'd say, hair lip. But facing each one, facing the pain of that, in fact, I just faced the pain of growing up with that. It just came to me just in the last couple of years. And I thought I'd really dealt with it. I mean, I've been through a lot of my own therapy, because it is about my own thoughts and feelings, isn't it? There's a saying in AA that is, if you're pointing the finger, there's three pointing back at you. You've heard that saying, I'm sure. And you know where the gold is? In these three fingers. Because it's not my job to change you. It's not my job to change what's around me. My job is to change me. Not change me necessarily, but to understand me, to really see that where my pain comes from, and what behaviors are mine that hurt me and hurt other people, and where does that come from? How many of you have a judge that's just going? Anybody? I want to see hands. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, that judge is judging you based on things that are not really true. Not really true at all. And where my journey has taken me is back to before I was conditioned to believe that I wasn't okay. Okay? There's an innocence there. There's an innocence in that realization, and that all these things that I did, my controlling nature, my codependent nature, my whatever it was that would cause me shame, came from some sort of negative belief about myself. When I felt fear or doubt or insecurity, and I came from that place, that's when I was controlling, you know? And I wanted you to change so I feel better. Damn it, you change so I feel better. We all do that, don't we? And yet we also know, because there's that place in our heart that our beautiful singer just said, there's something inside that knows. And that's the journey. It's like I started trusting this no matter what. And it took me to near bankruptcy sometimes. It took me to feeling completely stupid and having people judge me. But the more I followed this, the more miracles started to happen. Not big, flashy, burning bush miracles, okay? Little ones. Because I used to, not only was I addicted to that, I was addicted to the burning bush, right? We want to have some big spiritual awakening, and it's going to cure us of everything, right? We're going to transcend the body. We're going to do all that. Well, screw transcending the body. This is it, babes, okay? You know, what I really see is that there's probably endless lifetimes. This isn't about going away from anything. This is about going to it and meeting it with love, meeting it with understanding. I can't approach my clients with understanding until I have faced myself with understanding and compassion. So anywhere that you were just, that place that you hate yourself, that place that you don't want to look, I encourage you, I implore you to go there. And go there, yeah, and he's doing the thing, and going there, right on, yeah, that's what I should say, and go there with love and compassion. And if you don't have that compassion for yourself, do whatever you can to find it. Go to whatever therapist you need to go, whatever pastor you need to go, whatever teacher you need to go, whatever group you need to go to find it, because that is the key to my freedom, to my peace. I have never felt more peaceful in my life than I do now. I have never felt as grateful and I don't live in drama anymore. I used to, be attracted to it. But these days, my peace. And what has it been? What's the key to it? Facing my own crap. How about that? Facing that has led me there. So don't move away from it. Be brave. Be brave. Take that journey, because it's the best investment you'll ever make. Thanks.
Are there any questions for her? Any comments?
What was awesome? Tell me how it touched you.
Well, it just totally resonates with me.
And then I just know, okay, this is true for me.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And what's resonating? It isn't in our brain, is it? It's
No,
just like
it's-
right
yeah.
here. Yeah. It's awesome. No questions? No comments?
Sandy.
When you say go wherever you need to go to be okay, the place that I can go is to look at myself as a picture, as a little child.
Yeah.
And I can forgive that little child
Yes.
anything. And that helps me forgive me now.
Exactly. I'll just say something. I am writing a book. I don't have my cards. I don't have cards. I don't have a book to sell. But I will. I will have a book to sell. But it's all about that, finding that original innocence. So often we're brought up with original sin, right? We're born bad. And that's just not true. We're born innocent. And it's just the conditioning, right? So yeah, going to that child is where we go. What is it? Go ye as little children into the kingdom of heaven. That's the journey. That's it. Anyway, who else has a question or a comment?
Can I have Doria here, and then we'll go over here.
So I'm part of that journey. I'm an MFTI right now, marriage family therapist intern.
You're an
so I
intern.
get to journey with people. And when I went to the program, I thought that I waited to go to this program because I thought I will go enter the program when I'm taking care of all my emotional things so that I can help others. But when I went in there, 3 years, I realized that I didn't get over anything. I had to go back and revisit everything. And I don't say that many bad words, but when I'm with my clients now, I do say that, own your shit before you have to go and work on yourself. So that was one of the things that I owned. So,
Oh, very good, very good.
You go, Doria
That's great.
Sayed. Very nice.
Yeah, just a quick comment. Brene Brown, anybody? Brene Brown? Yeah, see, I'm in the right place. She says that, doesn't she? In Rising Strong and the whole thing, like she couldn't even finish her research until she did her own therapy. And she didn't want to face that crap. I'm sorry, it's not crap. It's actually sacred. It's actually sacred. Who else?
Okay, here we have Moon with an observation or question.
But one of the things I've noticed, I'm an ism. And in the addiction world, it's like it doesn't have to be alcohol, it doesn't have to be shopping, it could be maple bars. The thing that I've realized is that when you start looking at your truth and you look at the feelings that are within yourself and you quit chasing this fear,
Yes.
it'll actually stop and wait for you.
Yeah.
And that's when the healing, I truly believe that's when it begins.
Very,
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
lovely, lovely. You meet it like a friend. You meet it. Yeah, lovely.
Just a little thing that I happen to know that is true. Orchids, they grow on rotten material.
Yes, they do.
Just a metaphor.
Just a little.
I'm going to talk a little bit about suicide. So suicide seems to be coming up as a topic. And my father committed suicide. So that was in 1978. I was a 17-year-old. So it's been many, many years. And I've had to make many choices through the years about how I'm going to address my father. So right now my father's in my mind. And so that's the only place he is, wherever he's at. I've had 2 or 3 interesting, very real dreams. Did anyone ever see I think it was the 2nd or 3rd Star Trek movie, and I think in the 2nd, Spock dies in a Star Trek movie, but then he's like regenerated. But his mind is like blank, and he has to kind of like remember to be Spock all over again. Well, in my dreams, my dad's in his robe, and he's like absent-minded and doesn't even have a remembrance of anything. And my mom and my brothers and my sisters were all caring for him like he's maybe, I don't know, a 2-year-old. And it's really fascinating. So I've had to make the choice to just really go to that place of unconditional love. Absolutely no violent thoughts or anger towards my dad whatsoever. There's a lot of warm, kind, radiant love that I share with that person, my father. So I love him very much.
Okay, one more tiny
One more,
thing.
yeah, one more time.
Okay. You may have to go through a lot of anger and a lot of resentment. I mean, you got to face what's actually there for you. Don't deny it. Approach it. Don't judge that part of you. You know, that mind going. You have to face all parts of yourself. You know, you can't skip over stuff. Yeah, Joe.
My pleasure of being here with you people. And the energy that I get from that is a divinity, and the depth of that divinity is how I taste it. And the shallows of mind are how I waste it. The challenge that I have to hope is to listen with an open mind and know that we do have a negative, positively grounded spot in that point of view, and when we associate our feelings of depth of that is to know that we have an open heart also, and to be able to know that the heart also thinks with the negativity is to give the blessing and the choice of forgiveness for learning the things that we did not want to learn but still associate with, and learn that it is true, honest, and complete with the point of that spirit. And there's also a beautiful, clear, understanding spirit, and a negative also, that we need to constantly think about the love and care that other people give to us in this association with learning how to live life on life's terms. Thank you.
Amen. All right, thank you so much.